glenohumeral joint that occurs between this rounded head of humerus and shallow pear-shaped glenoid cavity of scapula. Both of these articular surfaces are surrounded by hyaline articular cartilage, and the glenoid cavity is also deepened by another fibrocartilage. You can see this outcovered cartilage is called glenoid labrum. The function of this glenoid labrum is to provide the deepness to the cavity so that the head of humerus it fits into this glenoid cavity of scapula. The joint is synovial ball and socket joint. You can see the head of humerus is just like a ball and the glenoid cavity is just like a socket. So they named the joint as ball and socket joint. The capsule encloses the joint and is attached medially to the margin of the glenoid cavity outside the labrum, and laterally it is attached to the anatomical neck of humerus. You can see in this picture. While the capsule is very thin and lax and flexible and allowed wide range of movement. And also the tendons of these muscles, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis, all the tendon of these four muscles also merge with the capsule and provides stability to the joint and strengthen the capsule. Ligaments, there are many ligaments supports the joint. The first ever ligament that is called the glenohumeral ligament that are of blue colors. These three blue color band are called glenohumeral ligament that consist of three bands: the superior band, the middle band, and inferior band. Together, these three ligaments supports the joint at anterior aspect and provide stability to the joint. While when we see at the superior aspect, there is a ligament that runs from the tip of this coracoid process towards the greater tuberosity. This pink ligament is called coracohumeral ligament and it supports the joint at the superior aspect. And there is another ligament that also runs from the tip of the coracoid process towards the back of acromion. This ligament is called coracoacromial ligament. It also provides stability to the joint at superior aspect. While there is another ligament that is called transverse humeral ligament that strengthens the capsule and bridges the gap between the greater and lesser tuberosities. It also holds the tendon of bicep, long tendon of bicep muscle in its positions. The synovial membranes lines the joint cavity and also attach to the margins of cartilage covering the articular surfaces. It also provides a tubular sheath around the long head of bicep brachii muscle that is called subscapular bursa. The function of this bursa is to provide a cushion between the bones and the soft tissues. While when we talk about the movements, all type of movements occur at this joint that are flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, medial rotation and lateral rotation and circumduction. Let's see all the movements. Now you can see this type of movement of shoulder. When the shoulder is drawn anteriorly, this type of movement is called flexion of the shoulder joint, performed by deltoid, pectoralis major muscle, bicep muscle, and coracobrachialis muscle. Together, these four muscles perform the flexion of the shoulder joint. Point to be noted here is that only anterior fibers of deltoid takes part in the flexion of the shoulder joint. While when the shoulder is drawn posteriorly, this type of movement is called extension, which is almost about 45 degree and is performed by posterior fibers of deltoid, latissimus dorsi, and teres major muscle. The type of movement in which the humerus is drawn away from the body, as you can see in the video, this type of movement is called abduction of the shoulder joint, and it occurs by two muscles. Those are supraspinatus initiate the abduction to 15 degree and the lateral movement takes place by the middle fibers of deltoid muscles. So up to 15 degree it takes place by supraspinatus and after 15 degree middle fibers of deltoid. I hope you are clear. When the humerus is drawn towards the midline, this type of movement is called adduction. Adduction takes place almost 50 degree, and it is performed by pectoralis major muscle, latissimus dorsi, teres major, and teres minor muscle. Together, these four muscles work together to perform the adduction of the shoulder joint. When the shoulder is rotated towards midline, this type of movement is called medial rotation, which is almost 55 degree and is performed by subscapularis muscle, latissimus dorsi, teres major, and anterior fibers of deltoid muscle. While when you can see the head of the shoulder is rotated laterally, this type of movement is called lateral rotation, and it is performed by infraspinatus, teres minor, and posterior fibers of deltoid muscle. The range of this movement is almost about 40 to 45 degree. The nerve supply to the shoulder joint is by two nerves. Those are axillary and suprascapular nerve, which are the branches of brachial plexus. We will discuss about brachial plexus in our next lectures. Thank you so much.